Keep your family covered. Save up to £309 with Admiral Multi-Cover.
What unbelievable horse shit! I'm in an absolutely appalling mood today. I got my COVID jag yesterday at long last because I was supposed to go and get it 3 weeks ago, stood in a line for half an hour, get to literally the next person in the queue to register your details to go and get the jag, and a nurse comes along and says, "Excuse me, anyone in this queue under the age of 40, believe it or not, I am." Put my hand up, yes. Oh well, I'm really sorry, but unfortunately we can't give you the Astra Vauxhall Zafira Jag thing because you're under 40 and we've run out of the Juniper Berries version that we can give you. Alright, fair dues. You know, I'm not going to make a massive song and dance about it, but surely you could have told me when I turned up, because it had been booked for bloody weeks. But anyway, doesn't matter. Sorted now, got it yesterday, so today I have a bit of a headache, I'm quite tired, feel a bit muggy, have a sore arm, and I'm right in the mood to get started on the Blown Gasket Sessions. And today we're featuring Admiral, my now former insurer for this car and my other car. Let's get into a bit of backstory first. You see, about 7 years ago when I first passed my driving test, there or thereabouts, my first insurance was with a black box company, and that lasted all of about 2 weeks, to be honest, because I didn't like the idea of that. So after that I was recommended Admiral, and ever since then I stuck with them. Right, from then on I had a wee Polo which lasted a good few years, and then it went bang, farted and died, and we had to get a Ford Focus, which would not have been my choice, but my significant other likes that car, and she likes it that much that she had an incident with it about 2 months after we got it. Now, I need to point out the type of cover that I had with Admiral was business for all on the Ford and just me on Scarlet. That was it. And Scarlet's mileage was, I think it was capped at roughly 3,000 miles per annum, right? That's what I was supposed to do. That's what the insurance was. Now, before the incident with the Ford, the insurance was sitting at roughly, I think it was something like £1,000-ish for both cars. Now, when the incident happened, which she hit a bit of black ice, then some went into her car, but you know, that's, you know, not much you could have done about that, apparently. But after that incident, the premium, as you would have expected for the Ford, went through the roof. That's fair enough, you know, I can understand that. The insurance quote that we had for the remainder of that year was just a smidge over £2,000. Yeah, that was a lot. And fair enough, because we had to go through the insurance, the Ford needed fixed. We had not long just bought the car back in 2019, so that was fine, it had to be done. I had only owned Scarlet as well for about 6 months at that point, so you know, the insurance was a little bit higher than I would have liked as well. In fact, I was already uncomfortable with it. So renewal time comes in 2020, and we got quoted, I've got it written down somewhere, we got quoted, so 2019 was £2,200 or something. That came down when the renewal quote went through, because it was December 2019 that the incident happened, and then in February 2020 we got the renewal quote through, which was £2,057.82 for a year's cover. I know. So I thought, oh, we'll just have to pay it. I've been with Admiral for years. I'm not going to, go uprooting my insurance. Fair enough, we'll pay it. Maybe when 2021 rolls around, we'll get a decent renewal quote. So that's the history. Fast forward to the tail end of February this year, and I get the renewal quote through, thinking, right, there's been no incidents, nothing's happened in the last year odd. Surely the insurance will be a bit more reasonable. I'm expecting, maybe a grand-ish for the Ford, and surely Scarlett shouldn't be any more than, about 250 quid for the year? Surely not. What they came back to me with was an initial first quote on the email. When your renewal time comes up, you get a renewal quote through, and it's pretty much just an automated, this is what you were paying, this is what you're now going to pay. I got a renewal through for this year for the Ford for Business for All, which we don't need because I'm not actually driving it as business. We have Business for All, no towing cover, none of that, just basic, pure and simple. This is your compulsory excess, and that's it, right? We had the Ford, came in at £1,146.95, right? And Scarlett, £478.24. A grand total of £1,768.87 for a year. Now, the Ford, you can almost understand that, right? That's almost fair enough because, we had to claim the year prior. But Scarlett, I've never made a claim on this car since I've owned it. And the fact that it only does 3,000 miles a year, and you're asking me to pay nearly £500 cover. That's not, it doesn't include any bells and whistles. It's basic cover with a compulsory excess of like 400 quid. So if I did decide to make a claim, I've got my normal insurance, then I've got to make that claim, I've got to pay the compulsory on top of that. That's bloody mental. I was furious. So I thought, right, no, I'm not having this. I got straight on the phone to Admiral, and I got passed from pillar to post as, you would, I'm looking to renew. Well, you'll have to wait in a queue because we don't really give a toss about your business, to be honest. We only want new customers. Doesn't really matter if we lose any old ones, it would seem. However, finally got through to someone. I'll give her her due. She was helpful. However, I said to her on the phone, look, I don't need business. Is there any way we could shave that off? Well, we can't really do that on the Ford because if we did that, then you would have to put it in your partner's name, and then your partner would need to be the one that owns the car. I go, well, no, but I own the car. It's my name on it. Oh, whatever. Right, so no, just leave that as Business for All. What can you do for me? Because that quote is ridiculous. You're still up at, the best thick end of £1,800 for a year for insurance. That's mind-boggling to me. And I had looked online already and seen I can get this cheaper, and I had a rough quote of about £800, right? That was a rough quote I had for the Ford on its own. And I said, I'm sorry, but there's no way I can justify £500 a year insurance for my, what is essentially my toy, my MX-5. I don't drive it a lot. So to save it £500 more or less, you're basically saying that I'm going to write this car off, which I have no intention of doing because I love this car. I lavish it with stuff. I look after it. Why would the insurance be so high? I couldn't understand it, and I said to her, she went, well, we see you've been a customer for years, blah blah blah. We'll see what we can do. So, bearing in mind, the first figure was £1,768.87. The best quote that she could give me was £1,407.89. Now, there's caveats on that. The caveats are that I had to be removed as the main driver on the Ford, but I still had to take business. I don't understand how that worked, even though I don't use it for business. We also had to do less miles. because I think the Ford was up at something like 15,000 a year, because like I said, my partner uses it for business. Right, okay. I mean, that's a bit of a come down from the 1,800 that I was originally quoted for renewal, but you know, I'm not sure I want to go for that, so I said, right, leave it. So I went off thinking I'm not paying that, because it turns out with the second quote, once I got the email through, the breakdown was still £450 for Scarlet. Now, that's only £20 less they've knocked off that, and you think, I cannot justify that. I cannot see how Admiral Car Insurance can think that this car needs to be insured for £500 a year or £450 a year. That's madness. Utter madness. What the fuck do they think I'm going to do with this car? Go and do burnouts in a car park every night till I write it off? Of course I'm fucking not going to do that. What? I don't understand it. I mean, I'm in my 30s as well. What? I'm not 17 and going to sit in a McDonald's car park all night, you know, in a fucking Vauxhall Corsa, a 1 litre, and stare at the engine and go, oh, I'm not doing that. I just really got on my tits. So, what did I do? Well, I went online. I had a look for separating the insurances. Now, this is something that I have to laugh at. When I said on the phone to the woman from Admiral, I went, look, if I separate my insurances, I think I'm going to get this cheaper than staying with your precious multi-cover, which apparently saves, how much was it?
Save up to £309 with Admiral Multi-Cover.
300 quid, my ass! Does it save you 300 quid having multi-cover? A lot of shite. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. What are you on? Oh yeah. If you keep it together, I mean, if you separate your insurance, it's going to become very confusing. I'm not 80. That's going to make a blind bit of difference to me. I know that, you know, this is what I've registered it all in. I'm not daft. I know how to do that. It's not complicated in any way. So I went, right, fine, whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah, leave it with me. I might come back and, you know, we'll maybe do this or we'll maybe not. So anyway, off I went on to compare the market and all the other ones online, and I found a relatively good quote for the Ford, and it unfortunately did mean that we had to get a black box, which ironically is with Bell, which is the subsidiary of Admiral. I thought, so they're quoting me, what was it? It was something ridiculous, like just over £1,000 they'd brought it down to for the Ford on its own. But I could go to Admiral and I got it for, how much was it? £620.24 was the quote I was given from Bell for the Ford for a year for more mileage, me just on it as a driver and my partner on it as business, right? I think that also included a bit of an extra cover. I think that includes breakdown. I'm not 100% sure, I'd need to go and double check that. However, the big difference, Scarlet. I went online, I had a scoot about, I did check a couple of other recommendations. Phil, for example, he's with the Co-op. Now, I checked the print and they're racist against imports. They don't like it. They refuse to actually insure an import, apparently. It's in the small print for classics anyway. So, yeah, well, that's not going to happen then. That's basically in the T's and C's, that's what it says online. They might change it, I don't know, but you're like, yeah, you racist Co-op. But in the end, I went on to Lancaster, and they are a dedicated classic car insurer. I went on and I thought, right, we'll go through this. I'll declare all the mods that are on Scarlet. There's not that many, but for what there is, if I had tried to do that through Admiral, it would have cost me a bomb, probably, to be honest. So I phoned them up, it was very helpful, said to her, right, yeah, this is what I've been quoted. She laughed, I laughed, you know, and then after that, she said to me, right, we can do this. So, this is the quote that I went for in the end. The Ford was £620.24 with Bell. That versus, I can't remember the exact figure for it from Admiral, but that is a hefty amount less. That's almost half what it was with the initial quote from Admiral. Lancaster quoted me for Scarlet bear in mind, the cheapest that Admiral would go to, with no bells, no whistles, no nothing, was £450.24. Lancaster quoted me £190, and that is including breakdown cover and a whole host of other things. What the fuck are you on, Admiral? £190, and I could have got it cheaper if I had joined the MX5 members club, but I don't feel like I want to do that, to be honest. It's just not. I actually have, Scarlett has got an MX5 owners club badge on the back, funnily enough. I've never taken it off, but yeah, by the by. Anyway, so yeah, I could have got that cheaper. What the fuck are you on, Admiral? 500 quid you wanted to insure this car. £500. No extras, nothing, just that. Just to insure it so I can drive it on the road for 3,000 miles a year. 500 quid. Mental. And here's the kicker. I get more miles with Lancaster. In fact, I said to the woman, I was down as doing 3,000, but I might do a few more miles than that. Can we up it to maybe 4,000? She went, well, actually, if you go up to 5,000 miles for the year, we can quote you even less. This is mad. Utter madness. So I can do more miles. I have breakdown cover if I need it. That's included as part of my insurance. And she did say you could have a courtesy car, but why would I want that? This isn't my main car, so it doesn't matter, it's fine, just leave it. I can't get away with that. Loyalty means absolutely jack shit nowadays. It genuinely must be the case. I mean, I've been with Admiral for what, 7-8 years, roughly speaking, and that's the best they could do, was taking about 300 quid off it and telling me, oh, you know, it's much less complicated if you stick with multi-cover. Oh, it might be less complicated for somebody in their 60s, 70s, 80s. But it's not cost effective. Not in the slightest. And neither's being loyal to a company. What's the point? How can you say that? I mean, I'd never had an accident. That's the thing. Personally, I've never made a claim. So, you know, it's like my Brucey bonus points, and the fact that I'm also insured on another vehicle for my work, which I don't pay it, but I'm insured on it. It's like, I haven't had any incidents. My partner has, yes, but I haven't. So surely that should balance it out a bit when it's my policy. No, clearly not. They're absolute money-grabbing bastards. It's disgraceful. Utterly disgraceful. I cannot believe that they would actually do that. It actually boils my piss. And do you know what the thing is? This was, what, 2 months ago, and I'm still angry about it. You think, why would you do that? So, anyone watching this, if you have an older car, for the love of God, do not go to Admiral with it. Get the fuck away from them as fast as humanly possible and go to Lancaster or something like that. Don't be an idiot like I was and just get your car insured on a multi-car policy. I mean, I admit, I did that the day that I bought Scarlett. I thought, well, of course, I'm going to just add it onto a multi-car because it's how much cheaper?
To £309 with...
My arse! It's fucking cheaper. What a lot of shit. Feel better now. Genuinely feel better now. Admiral, you are money-grabbing bastards. You do not value loyalty of customers, retaining customers. I told you on the phone that I could probably get my insurance for a fraction of what you told me I could have it for. My final bill, all in, was £800... Yeah, £810.24. £958.63 less than what you originally quoted me for renewing my insurance. Madness. Utter fucking madness. Anyway, that'll do it for today's first episode of the Blown Gasket Sessions. If you have had any form of dreadful story from the roads or anything that pisses you off in particular, please put it down in the comments below and on the end of the month edition of the Blown Gasket Sessions. We'll go through them all. That's how this is going to work from now on. Basically, at the end of the month, if we get enough stuff in, stories, that sort of things that piss you off and all that, I'll dedicate one episode to going through them all and talking about them and all that. Also, there will be more episodes coming up soon of things that piss me off, so they might be similar to you. Obviously, there's no need to put anything in the comment section about the 40 Club. I'm going to more than have that one covered. Anyway, that's it for this edition. If you have watched this entire rant, thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later. Take care. £958.63 fucking pence. Charlatans. Absolute fucking charlatans.